you, Dr. Doshi and Dr. Deshpande, for asking me to speak to this group of young people. And possibly one reason would be that Dr. Deshpande came with us a long time back, and before he went offshore for trying a career in academic and research, he did visit me for the last minute advice, so probably that remembered and asked me to speak. So when we talk of a career in academics, what we mean by academics is that it's a 3-in-1 job. And not only you take care of the patients, but you also do a lot of teaching and also do some kind of serious research. And when I say research, it's not only presenting papers, which many youngsters carry away with the idea that research is confined to presenting papers and participating in conferences only. So perhaps that's the mistaken belief, because hardcore research is what is expected for a person who has a career in academics. So I'm going to be giving you my perspective. There could be so many perspectives. Why dream a career? It sounds so, it's like a dream-like situation. You know, when you are growing up as a small child, you want to be, you see a train driver, you see an airline pilot, or you see a soldier, you want to become that. Okay, so when you are growing up, you see your teachers who are honored, felicitated, you wish to be like one of them. So the role models are already there right through the nursery class. If you develop during those formative years a passion for research, that means wherever you are sitting, whatever class you are in, and you are a student in ophthalmology, I believe that most of you have done or doing. Whenever 2 or 4 or 5 of you are sitting together, you are not discussing movies, but you are discussing, something related to the patient that you saw, or the paper you read, or the paper being talked about, or new breakthroughs that come in. So you really have to be, teaching each other, sharing your, what you saw the day before, So you have to have that passion. Okay. Of course, when you're surrounded by young students, and they are really the main driver for people like me, with the youngsters who surround you day in day out all the time. They serve as drivers. That if you wish to be surrounded by young, talented, some of the fittest people, brilliant people, you like the company, so you would like to pursue a career in academics. Then again, what this challenge is, you don't want to go really far. You learn a technique, and I see most of my colleagues in ophthalmology, they learn how to do a catheter well, or how to do a basic well, and the whole life they would spend doing that, or chasing the surgery. Today, there will be 10 cases a day, then a day will come and you are not satisfied, you will be 50 cases a day. And you keep going on and on, a robotic life to lead. You don't want to face a challenge, but since some of you, some of those people would drop an UPS or would have a complication, 1 out of 100, and they would have recorded it, they would show it all over the world how they dealt with that complication. Okay, that's not really an academic. Here you want to see on a daily basis the challenge. It pushes you to the limit. Okay, if you're driven by that kind of challenge, okay, you want to climb a mountain, you need to climb that mountain. Okay, if you feel challenged, that would give you a kick. If that kind of kick it gives you, then you are the kind of person who's going for academics. This also provides an interaction, particularly for, if you are a group of 5 or 6 glaucoma experts in an academic setting, which is basically institutional setting, be the public or the private hospital There are a number of these in the country. Okay, where there are so many of these. So you are not actually asking for any favor and not doing a favor, but you're sharing, okay, this is the problem I came across today. So during tea break or lunch break or, whenever you're sitting together, you have an opportunity. When I see many of my students, many of my colleagues who are in their solo practices or in group practices, they feel challenged. They say, well, I saw a patient, what do I do about it? They don't have any peer group to discuss those kind of. So if you're that kind of person, this provides a very, very good opportunity to have a free, without any fear, a free interaction among yourselves. And of course, if you're driven, that you want to extend the boundaries of knowledge, if you're working on the edge of what is known and what is not known, and you want to tread that kind of path, then this could be another driving force for choosing this area. And of course, the kind of kick you would get, and I can still recall the first paper that I published several decades ago, it gives so much kick, it gives so much, you're full of energy at that time. And if your paper gets cited, and if it gets cited again and again, I think you don't need anything else but this kind of a driving force, that your work is getting recognized world over. So that really is an academic, career. Then of course you get a chance, some of you have presented papers or will present papers in this kind of meeting, the regional or the national or international. And then finally, you start, this is where, when I began, I used to feel, how come, these guys are the ones who are giving lectures. How come I'm doing so much work? Why am I not being recognized? Okay, why am I not being invited? Okay. So you reach a stage where you will start reaching those limitations, and many times you have to turn down those limitations. So this could again be something, which set you up, for higher goals in your life, that you feel again very kicked. Then of course you don't have to spend. If you're working in an academic institute, somebody is spending money in the public or the trust or the private institution. You as an academic person in the institute doesn't spend a single penny. And you get to work on top of the line equipment. That is, something technology changes and you start saying that, well, I need this, and your team says, well, you can get it because you have shown a good track record, so you could go into the academic line. It's a low risk if you land a permanent position, which are rather rare these days. I'm not sure whether we as academic people get more respect just because you have more number of papers, or you get invited to conferences and meetings. Is it the flashy car that you drive or your colleagues drive and they're in practice and earning lots of money? Okay, that gains the recognition and approval of the society, I'm not so sure. And finally, your work gets recognized. Okay, your work gets recognized beyond the boundaries of the city, state, region, country. Somebody talks about your work. It gave me a lot of excitement when one of my students in cognitive was attending a session in Los Angeles, and the professor there was talking about something which he published, and without realizing that the boy is from the same institute, and he went on and on and on. So when he came back, he was so excited, he was so thrilled. He came and told me, sir, your people will discuss there. What bigger cake can you get than no amount of money can give you that kind of cake. When somebody is discussing in remote corners of the world the paper or the work that you've done. So then what are the problems? So I've given you enough reasons, 13 of them, why you should choose a career in academics. What is expected of you? You have to have original research ideas.
Hello.
You need to know how to ask research questions. You will be asked to teach. You have to teach the course say open-angle glaucoma, and monioscopy, or perimetry, or dark field tomography, or laser photocoagulation, and number of these things will be. You have to design how you will teach, whether it's going to be hands-on, it's going to be some kind of a basic lecture format, or whatever. And conducting research is again expected of you. How to design a study, what should be the objectives, how to collect data, how to collate, and how you're going to interpret, and be able to again publish in impact journals. Many of my friends are happy publishing in some of these letters, which are institutional letters, which are not recognized as, do not have an impact factor. They are not recognized anywhere. They are not. You can't search them on any of the mutual search engines. So please don't waste your time publishing those kind of journals. And I said about teaching, supervising research by the students, and of course, that's at the better about it. You want your students who are entering into academics to be able to speak confidently about what they're talking about. They may have a good content, but if they fail to speak, confidently, it's good. Now, when you are deciding about choosing a career in academics, you should also keep in sight the challenges. First, and these are the questions you have to ask yourself. Nobody can answer these except yourself. Do you have it in you? This is the tagline for career in academics. Do you have it in you or do you not have it? Does it clash with your personality? Does it clash with your philosophy of life or lifestyle? You want to drive a flashy car, you'll never be able to drive. You want to attend a evening party. Okay, you want to participate in all the functions of the family and relatives and friends. Now, because you don't control your time. There's no time for social functions, no time for your family. It's all the time, patience, research, teaching, 12 hours a day. Pay package is limited. Can I have 1 minute? And these days, I can assure you, some of the guys who carry iPads and smartphones in classrooms, for a teacher, it would be a major challenge if he is not up to it. And if choosing an academic career for the next 10, 20, 30 years, you will be challenged by an array of these smart devices who would give the answer within more time. The reality check, finally. The initial years are full of uncertainty when you are embarking upon this path. No sure career path, nobody on this world can tell you that, well, you will graduate my group and you will reach the top. People thought at one point in time they could get away without publishing. No longer so. Hard work is not enough. If somebody claims I'm very, very hard work. Resilience, that is where you have to be open to receive. I have been criticized in open forums about my beliefs. I've been shouted down, I've been stopped. My papers get rejected and rejection rate could be as high as 70%. Okay? Are you able to take it in its own stride? Will you get into a gloomy mood? Will you start shouting at a student because your paper got rejected? Okay, the comments, the initial comments in the initial year, the comments I used to get on my paper, these guys don't know how to write English. They don't know the use of article, the use of they would criticize you on any front, your methodology, your conclusion, your interpretation. So, you have to be absolutely, and of course, I'll not talk much about networking. You see it in place even in this conference, the kind of networking that goes. And academicians are, of course, expected nowadays to write for external grants. So you have to have research ideas, and you should have the capability of writing for the grants. So friends, my young friends, when you choose academics, how should you go about it? Make an informed choice. Keep your eyes and ears open. Don't, because your friend went into academics, don't follow him. Okay, you have to make an informed choice. I again say, the tagline for this would be, if you have it in you, then only choose. If it is not an ordinary vocation, that, I come from this category and I'm getting a job opportunity, I can assure you, and I see some example around me. If you are not good, you will lead a life full of frustrations. Because you got easily into an academic career and you're not able to perform to it or keep it up to it, you will have every day full of misery and frustrations and humiliations. Don't embark on that path. Know your own commitment levels. How often in your life, daily life, you have had compared, I must finish this article this night and show to my chief next morning. If you don't feel compelled to write that and you say, well, I'll do it, don't lose it all. Know your competition. The huge competition. And discuss with your friends and mentors. Look for opportunities around you. Have a contingency plan. Don't put all eggs in one basket. If I get it, otherwise you're lost. No. Have a contingency plan. And finally, my advice to you would be, set a time limit that I'm going to try for the next 3 years to get into my academic conditions. If I don't get it, I'm going to choose. You have a contingency plan. Okay? Set the time